Lillee made his first-class debut for Western Australia in the 1969-70 season. His second wicket was a catch, taken by a 21-year-old wicketkeeper, Rodney Marsh. Court Marsh bowled Lillee was to be a regular line on scorecards for the next decade and a half.
It was just one of those things, I think, as an Australian kid growing up, that just made you walk a few inches taller. That combination when you knew it was singing was something that everybody just took a little bit of pride in. That here was a combination that just really had the world's number, and it was as a kid growing up in Australia, that was a pretty wonderful thing.
And he's edged it behind, Martin throw, and he is out for naught.
Lillee began his international career in style, taking 5 wickets in the first innings of the first test against England. By the end of the series, he was being hailed as a possible future champion bowler.
Immediately, one had to be impressed by his bowling. I remember John Hampshire was playing for England in the Adelaide Test match, which was Dennis's debut. 8 ball overs in those days, and John Hampshire played and missed at 5 in a row from Dennis, bowling from the city end at the Adelaide Oval, so we knew there was a special talent that had arrived on the scene.
The following season, a World 11 toured Australia after the South African tour had been cancelled. In the second match, Dennis Lillee produced an extraordinary spell. He took 8 for 29 in 57 deliveries, the last 6 without conceding a single run.
Even a raw Lillee, you saw that he had so much intelligence, because he varied his pace at that stage. He didn't try to bounce you out. He realized very quickly that the Perth pitch, and of course he came from Western Australia, so obviously he knew the Perth pitch like the back of his hand. But he pitched the ball up to you. He didn't try and bang the ball in short, because every time he did that, it would sail over the wicket-keeper's head. So he pitched the ball up, and he got batsmen like Garfield Sobers, Clive Lloyd, Rohan Kenai into all kinds of trouble.
He really destroyed us there. And I remember as I went into bat, Rodney Marsh was standing something like 20 yards back. And I looked at Rodney and I said to him, what are you doing back there? And he said, you wait, you'll find out. And the first ball that Dennis bowled to me was a short pitch ball, and I'd never seen anything like it.
Despite having played just 2 official tests, Lillee went to England in 1972 as Australia's most experienced fast bowler. He took 31 wickets in the Test series, a record for an Australian in an Ashes series in England. At the Oval, he took 10 for 181.
I first saw Dennis Lillee in '72 when he came over. He hadn't had a lot of experience then. Massey, in fact, bowling the other end, got the early accolades really because of his extremely remarkable performance at Lord's. But Lillee was the star of that series.
Dennis Lillee looking again for his 5th wicket in this innings. And he's got it.
I always remember after the second test match when Bob Massey took those 16 wickets, John Inverity, who was the 3rd select on the tour, said, "Oh, we've unearthed a great bowler here." And I can always remember saying in the selection meeting, "Well, we may have, but I reckon there's going to be even a better bowler up the other end in Dennis Lillee," and that proved to be the case. He was a great bowler, certainly the best fast bowler that I ever played with or against.
During the 1973 Australian tour of the West Indies, Dennis Lillee was diagnosed with 3 stress fractures in his lower back. He continued to bowl in net practice and suffered a 4th fracture. These were career-ending injuries for most bowlers, but those who proclaimed Lillee to be finished seriously underestimated the character of the man.
Of all Dennis's achievements, to me that was the greatest one, to again come back from an injury that has ended other careers. Whereas, a Lillee basically went back to the drawing board and reinvented himself into a bowler that was, again, very, very successful on the world stage. And again, of all his achievements, I think the ability to not only come back from that injury, but to basically reinvent himself to a large extent is probably the greatest achievement of his career.
Lillee was out of cricket for a year and a half. He devoted himself to a rigorous strength building and fitness program that would evolve into something of a blueprint for the management of fast bowlers' injuries.
He went back and actually approached it very logically, and since then he's been able to pass this on to other people, that he worked out what he was doing wrong, he changed his action, and he's actually very interesting to talk to now about young bowlers who have injuries, because he's studied it a lot and he's very good at it.
Dennis's identification of all those things that he overcame, and the fact that there was much more research done into it, is one of the reasons why we've got people like Lillee, for instance, who's come back. You know, they've all had problems when they've been younger, and I think that in that respect, Dennis actually did us a great service.
He was the first of what I would call, you know, true professional cricketers, in that he got himself very, very fit. He trained hard, worked on his action, particularly after a debilitating back injury. There'd be a lot of fast bowlers who would credit following a Dennis Lillee regime as, you know, the man they wanted to emulate.